There's been talk of a debate with Florida Governor DeSantis and Newsom, but Newsom's saying that proposed rules for this debate are an attempt to hide DeSantis's weaknesses as a candidate. But I don't know, I've had a look at this, Josh, and all DeSantis wants is a 50-50 audience there. So what is Newsom's problem with these rules?
I honestly have no idea. I wish I had a good answer for this. I mean, there basically seem to be 2 points of disagreement that Gavin Newsom is objecting to. The first one is exactly what you said. He apparently does not want a live audience. And the other is that he objects to the DeSantis camp's proposal, their suggestion, instead of opening statements, to kind of roll out kind of a 2-minute hype campaign style video of sorts. So when it comes to the live audience, I genuinely do not understand what he is afraid of here. I mean, the viewers just saw it right there. I mean, DeSantis is proposing that the room be split 50-50. I mean, he's not proposing that this be like a 90-10 stacked, one-sided partisan audience. Now, maybe you might envision a world in which Gavin Newsom objects to Sean Hannity, who obviously is a conservative commentator here. You might envision a world where Gavin Newsom is maybe objecting to that, but he's not. He apparently has no problem with Sean Hannity moderating it. In fact, he already did a very high-profile event himself with Sean Hannity. So I don't understand what in the world is his issue when it comes to the audience. The opening statement versus a campaign-style hype video, I mean, look, not a big deal, honestly. Look, Ron DeSantis is currently running for president of the United States. Maybe he wants to give like his well-polished video team kind of more of an opportunity to throw out a video. It could be something as simple or straightforward as that. I think that ultimately, Rita, that these two will find a way to get the debate on. It seems like they both want it more than they do not want it. So I find that they're probably not going to come up with some sort of cop-out excuse to avoid it. And I very much look forward to it. It's going to be a great debate between the blue state model, California being the quintessential blue state in America right now, and the red state model, Florida, which is, in my opinion, I'm biased because I live here, but I think it has eclipsed Texas, my former state. I think it has eclipsed Texas as kind of the nation's iconic and leading red state. So it's going to be a great clash. It's going to be a great contestation of ideas and two big personalities, and I can't wait for it personally.
Josh, you are so right. This is the clear ideological blue state v red state fight. And the stats are pretty clear here. The Californians are the ones fleeing to Florida, not the other way around. So Gavin Newsom's going to have some trouble explaining just why that phenomenon is happening and why his policies aren't responsible for it. Now, Josh, we saw some crazy scenes out of another blue state, New York, and one of the bluest cities, New York City. The anarchy, the violence, the attacks against the police. I mean, these scenes are not what you expect to see in a civilized city.
Unfortunately, Rita, this is actually increasingly what I and I think many others have come to expect from Soros prosecutor-backed Democratic Party-governed cities in America. In fact, it was only a few months ago where there were very similar images out of Chicago. It was around the time of the mayoral runoff there in Chicago. Lori Lightfoot is out, and there were these horrible images of people just openly vandalizing and looting stores. It really makes my blood boil, honestly. I mean, there are a few issues out there that really viscerally get my blood pressure like through the roof than watching scenes like this, than watching this open flouting of the rule of law, this desecration of law and order, watching cops stand down because they feel like they cannot take action because they might be prosecuted or they might be sued for monetary damages. It's horrible. I mean, with scenes like this, if you are an entrepreneur, why would you ever feel incentivized to try to kind of save up capital, get a loan from a bank, get your business going up, if your business is just possibly liable or could potentially one day just be looted and vandalized by these street thugs? I mean, without basic respect for the moral imperative of the rule of law, nothing in society ultimately matters. It really does all come back to this. And like I said, I mean, in so many of these Soros prosecutor cities in particular, Chicago, New York City, St. Louis, Los Angeles, San Francisco, tragically, I think the number is roughly 20%. Roughly 1 in 5 Americans currently live in a jurisdiction where there is a George Soros-backed prosecutor, because he has many of the biggest cities, like I just mentioned there. That is a galling statistic. It's actually why my friend Will Scharf and I recently found that a group called Jews Against Soros were trying to kind of push back against this ridiculous notion that to criticize George Soros is somehow anti-Semitic. It is not. He is an evil man. He should be called out for it, because the more George Soros you get and the more George Soros-funded prosecutors you get, the more scenes like this you will have.
You are so right. I had no idea about that statistic. 1 in 5 Americans are living in jurisdictions under George Soros-backed DAs. That is not happy news. That is just sinister. The influence this single man has on the justice system. Josh Hammer, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Rita.